So in this video, I'm going to talk about a very serious problem that Hypixel faces: hackers. We have moderators to ban them, an anti-cheat to stop them, and we even have an algorithm that bans them automatically, but yet this can still happen. Okay, so despite all the effort everyone puts into cheat prevention, nothing was able to stop this guy. Obviously, this person must have put a tremendous amount of effort into getting away with cheating. So that brings up the question: how does one justify hacking? In other words, what do people tell themselves that makes it okay to ruin the game for others? The most common misconception about hackers is that they're malicious people who cheat for the sole purpose of ruining the game for everyone else. This is not the case. Typically, hackers are only in it for themselves. They don't care about others and think of fellow players as mere pixels that they are clicking on. Or not clicking on, whatever the case may be. This is a trait shared by all hackers. Having different morals online versus in real life allows them to justify anything they do. After all, it's just a game. The underlying reason for this distinction between morals is the fact that anonymity provided by the internet allows them to essentially have two different identities that are completely unrelated and don't affect one another. Hackers are not terrible people. They simply exhibit different values while under a false identity. So if them being inherently evil is not the answer, then how do people justify hacking? Before we answer that, we must first answer a simpler question: why do people hack? Guard answers a simpler question in a forum thread: why do people break the rules? The three reasons he gives are power, entertainment, and ignorance. Ignorance doesn't really apply to hackers because using modified clients to gain an advantage in PvP is obviously not allowed. That sort of goes without saying. So for the purposes of this video, we will ignore ignorance. Let's talk about power. The most distinctive trait of this type of hacker is that they care about their account. This is the type of person who wants you to think they're legit. They typically toggle really subtle kill aura or use ghost clients to make them extremely hard to catch. They're very common in ranked Skywars. People who hack for power tend to link their self-esteem to their in-game performance. They want coins, they want stats, and they want recognition. So if their performance isn't good enough, they can justify using cheats to make up for it. And once you've started hacking, it is extremely hard to play legit again. Believe me, I know from experience. But more on that another time. Power hackers can be reasoned with, and usually getting a temp ban is enough for them to stop. Even if they don't stop, power hackers usually have access to only a handful of accounts, so banning them for good is relatively simple. Long story short, people who hack for power tend to be bad at the game, but they do care about their account. Now, the entertainment hackers. This is the most obvious type of hacker and the hardest to stop, for one reason and one reason only. They do not care about their account. I mean, why should they? They have like 500 more. These hackers are most common in large games like Mega Skywars, UHC, or Mega Walls, and are almost always using B-Hop. Sometimes Watchdog can detect them if you're lucky, but sometimes hackers know how to outsmart cheat detection. For example, many clients have an anti-Watchdog feature. Now, this brings us to another type of hacker, worse than all the others mentioned so far: the AJS member. These are not just new players with a bunch of alts. These people have played on Hypixel for years. They've been on the player council and they know how the server works. Their goal is simple: make Hypixel unplayable. Of course, they're all IP banned from the network, but they can simply bypass it using a VPN. And when they do get banned, there's always another account stolen from some poor soul who fell for an online scam that they can log into and keep hacking. Not only do they bypass Watchdog using every hack ever made, but they are also dedicated to finding exploits, promoting toxicity, and inspiring chaos. So the question is, how do they justify that? Well, their logic is that since Hypixel is apparently bad at cheat prevention, making the games unplayable should force them to change. First of all, hacking to prevent hacking makes no sense. AJS is essentially becoming a part of the problem they supposedly want to solve. Even if their hacking does force staff to fix issues, that does not excuse the frustration they have caused in countless individuals. Personally, I do not believe the hacking to stop hacking explanation, and I don't think they do either. AJS is a group of experienced players who got bored of playing normally and decided to cheat. Their motives are simply power and entertainment, and they are no different from any other rule breaker. To summarize, hackers justify what they do by having different morals online and in real life. Hackers do not care about others, and their hacking is more of a result of being selfish than it is of any malicious intent.